Good evening. If you're tuning in on a replay, I'm Classy Lady. You may want to go ahead and fast forward to like the fast after the first 5 or so minutes, because once my chats start to come in, I will acknowledge the people that are coming in first. So just heads up, if you're viewing me on a replay, scroll on to the first 5 minutes, and you probably will get started with my content. Thank you. If you're new viewing me, can you please consider subscribing? I am 9 weeks to YouTube, and I am trying to get my subscriber count up and my watch hours. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Hello. Hello, one person. Can you hit the like button for me? Thumbs up. Is that you loving my grandsons coming through here? The first one. Hey, Madeline. I'm sorry, Marilyn. I'm trying to say uh your last name and your first name, and how y'all doing? Y'all hit that like button before y'all forget. Y'all know how y'all get in here and get relaxed, or you in the bed getting ready to get in the bed and go to sleep. Thank y'all for coming over. How was y'all day today? I had a good good day. Um I made a few, well, one important phone call to the doctor's office, and hopefully they go ahead and take care of something, and they ain't gotta wait till 2 or 3 days. Well, no, I made actually two. I made two. And I waited till late to make the second one. I didn't think about it until late. I'm trying to get in front of the bullet to see about how much my procedure will be. Oh, okay. The temperature is dropping here. I haven't been outside. You know, tell y'all when I come inside, I'm in the house. Um, what's the day? Oh, you know what? My day is, y'all. It's all mixed up. I was getting ready to say I got to go to the doctor tomorrow, but the day is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. I don't go until Tuesday. Wow. I am really thinking. I was just thinking that again. I was like, my cousin, I said, I haven't even watched her live jury show, and here's coming, it's going to be Tuesday tomorrow, and I ain't watched it. And then I sat back, I say, today ain't Monday, today is Tuesday. Then I get right up on here and speak to y'all and do the same thing, thinking the day is Monday, and the day is Thursday all day long. Hey, Valentine, baby, how you doing? Welcome over, everybody. Y'all hit that like button for me. Yeah, I done got my days mixed up. I guess it's cause I've been, I went to church four times this week. Hmm. Now that's a first. That is a first, I can say, unless I be with my mom. Hey, Bob. I bet you got bunions too, but you better act right coming in my chat, because you're gonna get blocked. Hey, Roger Queen, how you doing? Yeah, don't come over here with that. I bet your feet hurt too. Mine don't hurt. Y'all hit the like button as y'all coming on in. Okay, well then you could have just said, you know what? How you doing? I have bunions. Do you need the number to my foot specialist, Bob? So you come over here for sympathy. Okay, I can sympathize with you with your feet with your foot pain. No sir, no sir. I dealt with foot pain for 15 years. You can keep your pain, baby. Mm-mm. You can keep that one. I done had all kind of foot pain. I done had some you wouldn't even imagine. You wouldn't even imagine, and you wouldn't be able to deal with it. Do you have insurance? Do you live in Texas? Where do you live? You have to live in the state in order to know who I go to. Hey, Gloria, how you doing? Okay, I'm at my 5-minute mark. I got to do my introduction again. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Classy Lady. Welcome to my channel. I'm a new content creator / reaction channel. I am 9 weeks in. If you're viewing my channel for the first time, I would like for you to be nice and subscribe to my channel. View some of my videos and shorts and run me up. I'm trying to get to my first 500. I'll take the 1,000 subscribers and my first 1,500 watch hours. That would be greatly appreciated. What state are you in? Oh, well, I'm sorry, my doctor don't work in the UK. If you lived here in the state of Texas in the United States, I sure would give you his number. So anyway, Bob, I'm gonna pray for you with your foot pain, because I know how it is to have foot pain. But in the meantime, like my friends say, in between time, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and sit back and relax, and maybe your bunions, while you listening to my commentary, your bunion pain will go away, or to give you a distraction so you won't think about it. So, hope that'll help you out. No, not our metro. Ain't no bus go that far. You know good and doggone well you'd have to fly. I don't know if the train even connects that far. Or get on the boat. But you know how to get to the UK from the United States. And then once you touch down at a state in the United States, then you can move around. We have a metro bus system here. Yeah, but it don't go no further than the Houston area. So find you a way to get to the United States, and then when you get to the United States, find a way to get to Texas, and when you get to Texas, let me know you're in Texas. Preferably Houston, and then I can tell you where the doctor at. Okay? Deal? Deal. All right. We through talking about your bunions. You take you some Tylenol or whatever you can take over there, and hopefully you'll feel better. So, anyway. Bob, you a troll. I'm not going to entertain you anymore. I done entertained you for about 5 minutes, and I had to make my 5-minute introduction, and now in a few more minutes it's going to be my 10-minute, and I'll make my third introduction, and then I'm going to start my commentary. Royalty Queen, how was your day? We were talking about the weather. It's supposed to get cool here, and it may be cool outside now. I turned my AC off last night. So, hey, LaWanda, how you doing? So, and my house is it's a good temperature. Matter of fact, I turned my fan off in the room, and I have my ceiling fan on, and I'm kind of chilly, but I will sleep with both of them. I don't care how cold it is. I sleep with both of them on. It could be 30 degrees outside. My ceiling fan and my oscillating standing fan is on. And like we do one leg out the bed or 1 foot out the bed, and everything else is covered up to the neck. So that's the way. Hey, ex Granny, how you doing? So that's the way I sleep when it's real cold. So no AC is on right now, and from the look of the weather, it's supposed to be cool in the mornings and warm these next two, get up to like 70 something, 80 something degrees, and then by Sunday, Saturday and Sunday it's gonna plummet. So that's where we at right now. As granted, did you get a chance, any of y'all, did y'all get a chance to listen to those revivals that I posted? Any part of it? A little bit? Wait. If y'all didn't, y'all missed it. Y'all missing a treat. I wouldn't tell y'all to go over there and look at them if like I said, they're very animated. He's very comical. But got his point over, and I liked him. He interacted with the church. He really did interact with the church, and made you interact back with him. So we said we wasn't having no dead church, and if you used to having it, well, it wasn't gonna be there today. So look at the first, the second one was good. The first one was something else. The second one was good. All three of them were good, but the first one he really came in animated, and then the second one too. The second one too. All three of them. Yeah, yeah. Cause he even got to the point where how we take we pray and we ask God for something, and then we take it to the altar, and then next thing we going back and get it and coming, trying to solve it, and then next thing when it don't go our way, we bringing it back. He talked about that too, and that that's all of us. We all do that. We pray and we know it. We ain't supposed to worry, but we worry anyway. And then we try to intervene, stick our hand in it, and try to do things our way, and we just make it worse. So then after we made it worse and make a mess of things, then we try to go back and bring it back to him. He's going to always accept it, but you need to stop doing that. Stop doing it. Let it go. Let it go. Let go and let God. That's a true saying. We all know that one. Let go and let God. So, but I wanted to talk about some unfair, untimely deaths or something like that. One of them, I don't know if y'all heard about it, about the 12-year-old that passed after she had a fight with one of the, well, you can pretty much say schoolmate. I know Bama was supposed to talk about it. We talked about it a little bit the other day, but she was supposed to come back and talk about it, but I don't know if she did, but I'm gonna bring it up. But the 12-year-old, and I'm gonna say her name because the aunt wanted her name being said. Her name is Jada West. And so Jada appeared to be a sweet little girl and stuff like that. She had been having problems with being bullied at her school, at one school. Then her parents moved and she got at a new school and she got bullied there. So when I asked the question the other day, one of the persons, I think she was probably from somebody else's chat, and you know how they drop in with these, well, it could have been a real person or somebody changing their name. They kind of want to be a little confrontational. Yeah. They may and they may not, because the little girl that she had to fight with was Well, I'll get to that. So my question was, because they was trying to say who was at fault, and just by the people that saw the fight and stuff like that, who was at fault. Um, one we just say the school, the parents, the bus driver. Uh, it was an adult owned location, or the children. So that's 5 people. Drop a 1 in the chat if you think it was the school's responsibility. Y'all drop a 1 if you think it was the school's responsibility. Number 2, if it was the parents were at fault. 1 for the school at fault, 2 for the parent, 3 for the bus driver, 4 for the parent that was on location, and 5 for the children. Y'all drop a number. 1 for the school, 1 for the parent, 2 for the parent, number 2 for the parent, 3 for the bus driver, 4 for the parent that was on location, or 5 for the kid. Or either put your comment in the thing. They need to talk to us more, and we need to talk to them and find out what's going on with them. It's so busy. Everybody's so busy doing this, doing that. Got to go here, got to go there. Got to take them to practice. Got to pick them up. Got to get them to eat. Got to get them to, But in the meantime, even if you have that hectic schedule, conversation needs to be had in the car. I don't care if it's you're taking somebody else's kid home. You still need to have a conversation, because the conversation you have with your kid, the other kid can hear it as well. Now, you can't tell the other kid what to do, but sometimes when you're talking to your kids, or I know when we would go home, like at lunch, like leave school and come home, my mama would cook. Like sometimes she would cook spaghetti, or she fried chicken, or she'll tell us, and then we would come home with come home with a friend for lunch. Y'all hit the like button in the bushes and bring them numbers up for me. And so when she didn't just tell me and my like 2 friends, she told them too. Now, y'all riding with her, y'all not making no stops. You leaving here and you going back to school. Now, once you get to school, if you want to go somewhere else, you're going to have to find another way. That's how my mama was. I don't mind y'all coming home for lunch, but come straight here. All them detours and going here, that, no. And when we left school, we did band practice. And by the time we got out of band practice, we were so tired. We was just ready to get home, And then I had a carload of people to drop off. But I drop them off, and then I make it on home and stuff like that. But all that stopping to the store, and I need, nope, can't do it. Nope, can't. No, you can't just run up in the store. You going straight home. Let your mama, whoever, take you to the store. Because my responsibility, my mom said, my parents say it's okay for y'all to ride. My thing is, pick you up in the morning, go straight to school. Leave band practice, take you home, come straight home. It ain't no detours. And I'm not going to mess up my driving privileges for you. So, it was like that because my parents talked to us, and we stood with something to lose. When my brother started driving, he stood with something to lose. When I started driving, we both had vehicles to drive to school. So why would I mess up my privileges for you, and you don't even have transportation? No. So we need to talk to our kids. Like I said, even if you got a hectic schedule, you got to take them to school, you got to pick them up, you got to do this in the car. If that's the only time you get to have y'all conversations, in the car. And then like these cold days and stuff we've had, and everybody locked up in the house, that would have been a great time to just have family fun and family conversations. Talk about everything from A to Z. And sometimes kids be wanting to open up and tell you, well, mommy, well, what you think about this, or daddy, what you think of, just talk to them. So I'm gonna read some of y'all comments since I asked the question, and then I guess the rest of y'all that didn't answer, y'all probably haven't heard the story. Okay, so I'm gonna tell the story, and then we gonna see loving my grandsons and ex granny gave a number. Okay, so what happened was, so the girl was getting bullied at the school, and the parents moved. She got bullied at that school, so she got on her bus to come. Her and whoever lived in her neighborhood, or like where she lived, they got on the bus, and these other kids got on the bus too, that she was having some friction with. Okay, so all of the kids got on the bus, and I guess they were rah-rahing, back and forth on the bus or whatever. Now, here in Texas, if all the kids have to have their ID around their neck all the time. And I forgot to call my cousin to see if they print their bus numbers out. Because if you have to live more than 2 miles from the school in order to ride the bus. So I'm thinking they put their bus numbers on their ID as well, with their name and their picture, so that the bus, when they come on the bus driver is turned to look and greet each student. Whether she say hi, they say hi, whatever. And I'm thinking their number is on the bus so they can see if that person rides the bus. Here, you cannot just get on the bus and think you gonna ride the bus somewhere. It don't work that way. If your tag don't say you ride that bus driver is looking and acknowledging the students, and you're not getting on that bus. So, okay, that's here. I don't know if that goes everywhere. So, the part of Georgia where they live at, the bus driver all of the kids got on the bus. The young lady, her friends that walk her way, and then some other people got on the bus. So I guess they had friction on the bus as well. This is what the story that was told to the parents, that it was, they was arguing back and forth on the bus. All right. They stopped. The bus driver stopped at the stop, and I think somebody said the bus driver put him off. The girl that was fighting and her little friend say, no, she said, well, why did they get off at our bus stop? So I don't know who got off the bus first, the people that lived there to get off the bus, or the other people got off. But I'm assuming it was the girl them that need to get off the bus first, because otherwise the other people wouldn't know, particularly where they stay. I'm going to assume. We just going to say, allegedly, they didn't know where she stayed at. So we just going to assume Jada got off first. Jada and her friends got off first. And then the other ones was on there and might have been talking stuff, or they were the last ones on there. And maybe the bus driver put them off. It's two sides to a story. We don't know if the bus driver put them off. They got off. However, they was off the bus. All right. They were going one way. Okay, and then it was a vehicle park. So there was an adult there waiting on her people that she was picking up. Because evidently, they either stay further, or the bus don't go there, or they don't live 2 miles from there. I don't know. Adult was there at the corner in a car, and the kids was talking to, on the outside, talking to them and stuff like that. Then the little argument kind of started, they back and forth. And then one little boy, he started running down the street talking, something like that. And then the little girl, Jada, her friend it had to be her friend. Her friend started videoing. And so, Jada was really getting it. She was, cursing and effing and all of this kind of stuff. And so then she was kind of like waiting around. And then so the girls and them was talking, but they was, walking off. And instead of Jada going on her way, she stood there and was, mouthing off. She turned like she was going, but then she didn't. But the other three or four of them started walking down the opposite direction. So they was bickering, talking loud in the street. And then the girl was, Jada was, mouthing off and cursing and whatever, whatever. So the girls, they started walking back, closer. And she said, man, I don't even know what the she say you wanna fuss and argue over some noise. I don't even know you. She said, I don't even know you. I don't even know your name. And she said, you wanna argue about some noise or something? She said, and like that's crazy. And so when she said that, was saying that, I don't even know your name. I don't even know who you are. So the girls started walking, they started walking back towards her. And they were just, back and forth bickering. And then the girl said something to Jada. And then Jada said, no, you need it. Well, you got the cheerleader section egging it on. Jada had some of her friends. Woo! And then this girl got her friend. Woo! Egging it on. There was one little boy there. His name is either Michael or Micah. And he was like, no, 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 y'all. No, no, y'all. We need to be peaceful. We need to be at peace. We need to be at peace. Hey, Lex, we need to be at peace. And they like, they steady, arguing back and forth. So next thing you know, they was like, well, you want to fight? And one of the girls said, well, I know she ain't talking to me. One girl took and put her braids up. And then the other girl say, I know she ain't talking to me. Y'all know how I get down. Y'all know how I get down. So they said, some of you must want to fight. So Jada said, well, we can fight, this is the 12-year-old Jada. So she said, we can fight. And so she put her, I don't know what they be having in them backpacks. Them backpacks be so long and big and just heavy. So she put her backpack down, and I would have thought she would have took a sweat off, but she didn't, because you could tell they're inexperienced young kids. And the other girl put her backpack down. So they got their hands up like they're gonna do that, and then they swinging, and then Jada had the upper hand because she grabbed the girl, and she had the girl by her hair. So they fighting back and forth, and then the girl got some good licks, but then Jada had her. Then they pulling each other, going back, and they in the street. So now they behind this woman's SUV. And next thing you know, they fall down. And I don't know if when they fell down, if Jada hit her head. I didn't see her hit her head. All I know is Jada went upside down over the girl, and her friend was hollering, Jada, oh my God, Jada, Jada. So then they was like on the side. So I guess the girl got up first, and it looked like they may have kicked her. Y'all in the bushes, y'all hit the like button, please. So it looked like somebody may have kicked her. So anyway, I don't know if the adult got out, because I heard something like go boom. So I guess that was her door closing, and by this time she gets out of her SUV. So she closed the door, and she walks over, and she looked like she was pulling them apart or whatever. And then they were still arguing or whatever. And so the other girls, they would start walking off and stuff like that. And her friend was like, well, Jada, you all right? So the lady kind of looked like she was there to make sure that the other people went that way. She went that way. Well, so Jada and her friend them Jada was still going off. The other kids was down the street. She was still going out. That lady said, y'all need to quit that. Y'all need to break this mess up. And she's saying, you need to go home. Well, she told her, yeah, you need to go home, because she was still running her mouth. The other girls had went on down the street, was walking on down the street. And so she's still running her mouth. I don't know if they turned around or whatever, but the lady had told them, y'all need to go on down. Y'all need to go on. And so the auntie when she was looking at it, she was saying that the lady was there and she could have broke the fight up, and the lady was wrong for hollering at her niece and telling her to take her home and all this kind of stuff. Well, two things. That lady was there picking up either her children or the children that she was supposed to be picking up. And when they got off the bus and they was rah, they was, trying to decide what they was going to do, the kids, her kids was on the outside of the SUV, like talking to her. She was, distracted. You could see they were talking to her. Then when they decided to get in the SUV, it looked like her body was turned and she was doing something. And here they go fighting. Okay, so then when the girl flipped over, I think that's when the woman had got out of her car because the door closed. It sounded like, at first it sounded like a gun. And then I say, no, they'd have to be the door closing or whatever. So, but the girl was fine. Now, the girl was fine. And when, like I said, the woman walked over there and told her, look, you need to take I'm an adult and y'all need to go. And I said, y'all need to break it up, or y'all need to stop and go home, or else I'm gonna have to get involved in it, but she wasn't in it. She was in her SUV doing whatever she had to do, and she could have pulled off, but then I guess she might have was getting ready to pull off, and then she seen them fighting. So then she probably put her car in park. I'ma assume she put her car in park. And then when they was fighting and they was coming across the street, she got out because no sooner than the girl had flipped, I heard a door close and the girl flipped over and they was fighting. Okay, like I said, the girl got up. The friend was, filming, and then next thing you know, she stopped filming. That was it. So they must have went home. So I don't know how far they got. I don't know if they was walking and then the girl collapsed. Because then they said that, that she just fell out. They made it seem like, well, she could have just walked a few steps and fell. Because by this time, the friend that was filming, turned her camera off. So she could have walked a few steps and then flopped. And then somebody ran to get her mom. And so by the time her mom came, she said that the girl wasn't breathing or whatever. So I don't know if they took the girl to the hospital in her in their car, or they called an ambulance or whatever. So from that I told y'all a story. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna see. The question was, who do you think was at fault, if any was at fault? Put a 1 in the chat if you think the school was at fault, because the bullying and stuff started at the school. And they was arguing at the school, and then they all got on the bus. And from what they were saying, the other girls that they were fighting didn't live over there. That wasn't a bus route. So they end up getting on the bus. So we got the school, number 1. The parents, we're going to say number 2. The bus driver, number 3, because she dropped them all off. Whether the ones that were supposed to get off got off, whether the other ones was on there and she didn't know where they go, or they didn't ride her bus and she told them they had to get off. The bus driver, the adult that was there picking up her children, or the kids. Who was at fault for the fight? So everybody wants somebody to blame. So as Granny says, 1, the school. Well, okay. So you saying the school, if it was reported. But you have to know. Now, like I say, all laws are different. I don't know what Georgia laws are. But the fight didn't happen on the school campus. The fight didn't happen on the bus. The fight happened when they got off the bus. So, no. You can't, the school can't cover everywhere. Only their property, the school and the school bus. If they had to fight on the bus, she'd have banged her head or something would happen, it would have been the school because it was their property, the school and the school bus. Okay, so you say 1. Loving my grandsons says 3 and 4. The bus driver and the adult that was there. Bus driver. No. The bus driver dropped the kids off that normally gets off at that stop. The other kids, if the other kids were left on the bus, well, where y'all go? You don't normally, this is my last stop. How did you get on this bus? Or whatever, if they're not checking IDs. So I'm headed back to the school. You can either get off the bus here or you can go back to the school and find out what bus you're supposed to ride. Okay? So the kids probably said, I'm going to get off the bus. So they got off the bus. They wasn't supposed to be on that bus in the first place. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if all schools check IDs. I do know I'm going to say in Houston, you have to have ID before you get on these buses. And that's what I'm saying. It must be a number, your bus number, before you get on that on your thing. Because even the little kids that ride the bus, they have to know what bus those little children ride on. So I'm assuming the bus number is on their badge, on their school ID. So then, because the bus drivers, when they get on the bus, most of them are turned toward the door where they can see, and you got your ID on you. Okay, so now this is just my opinion or whatever. So that's why I say no, it's not the bus driver's fault, because the bus driver stopped and stopped at the stop. That was her stop. Let those kids off. If that was her last stop, and if she was just say hypothetically she was going back to either to the bus barn, probably to the bus barn, because that might have been her last route. So okay. You either gonna get off at this stop, or you gonna have to go back, or I can take y'all back to the school. Because if you're not on my route, I can't take you home. So if the kids just say, well, we'll just get off here and we'll just walk home. Okay, so that's what the girls were saying. Y'all don't even live over here. Okay. So the bus driver. Okay. And then the adult that was picking their child up, no, because how many times or do y'all see things happening? Do you get involved? Do you if you see a boy beating up on a girl, do you get involved and say, hey boy, don't be hitting that girl? Do you get involved and say something like that? Or if you see somebody car being stolen and the woman being pushed out the car, or she trying to hold on, or do you say, let it go, let them have it, and then they drive off, and then they're saying, she was holding on to the car for dear life because maybe her child was in the back seat, but you was encouraging her, let it go. So then here she hearing the voice in her head and let him go, and her child is in there. So you got him, getting involved. Or you could see somebody pull a weapon out on somebody. What you gonna do? Don't you do that. You ain't gonna say that. The best thing for you to do would be to call for some help. Duck down or get to safety and call for some help for that person. And try to see a description of whoever got this weapon. And if it happens to go off, maybe what kind of car they're in and a license plate. But this woman was waiting on her children. And when they got off the bus, they were standing at the SUV talking to this woman before they even got in. Meanwhile, these children are arguing. Well, what you gonna do? Such and such and such. So she may not have even been paying attention to them. Or they could have said, well, they've been arguing since they got on the bus. Okay, well, y'all get in the car, let's go. Because it ain't her business. How many times you see fights? I see fights down the street. I might blow my horn, but I'm not supposed to get out of my car and talk about break it up, break it up. You don't know who has a weapon, a knife, a gun, a bat. You don't know who have what. So your best thing to do is to maybe get down the street or get somewhere safe and call 911 and tell them what you see and let them handle it. Because, yeah, there are people that will get out and try to break up a fight and stuff like that. Kids these days bring weapons to school. They bring knives. They have forks. They have all kinds of sharp objects. So you don't know what these kids have. So the woman got in the car minding her business. And then I guess she didn't pull off. And then she continued to hear them. Now, my problem with her is, I can't say I have a problem with her. I'm wondering, where did the girl actually collapse? Did she collapse, turn around and start to walk and she collapsed right there? Or she went and got like a distance down the street and she collapsed? Because if that was the case, who's to say that woman was still there? That woman could have pulled off. Now, if the woman was still sitting there and watched her walk and then she collapsed and she saw and didn't call for help, then she wasn't being very adulting. But she didn't cause that. That wasn't her business. The right thing for her to do, yeah, would have been to call for help for the little girl. But in actual reality, that wasn't her business. How many of y'all, like I say, buy out, y'all see things going on. You in the store, you see somebody stealing. Do you go and tell the cashier, oh, they over there stealing? Or do you turn the other way and walk away? Think about it. Think about it. Do you walk away or do you go tell somebody that they stealing? You saw them stealing some clothes, stuffing some clothes in their clothes or in a bag. How do you handle that? But if the woman was still there and she actually saw the girl collapse and she didn't call for emergency, then she was not being a good parent. But meantime, in between time, one of the kids had went to get her mother. And then by the time her mother came, I don't know, you know how if you knocking on the door and you hysterical and you trying to say something wrong with Jada, and her mama flying out the house, maybe with no shoes, no nothing, just going out. She didn't pick up her cell phone, no keys, no nothing. She just going out. So she gets there and she's telling somebody to call 911. So then, is the adult still there? Or is the adult already been drove off and the kids there? The kids evidently walked back when that adult drove off. Because the adult, remember, got out and told me, y'all break it up. Y'all going on and you go to your house. Because she's still mouthing out. She told me, you go on to your house. And she had already told them, y'all go. So then after she see that they broke up, she done told them to go, y'all go. And she telling them, I'm an adult or whatever. Don't make me get in it or whatever. So they went on. And then she still mouthing out that she told her, look, you go on to your house. So she making sure they went, making sure she went. She gets in her car and she drives off. The girl may have walked and the people came back because they was going to fight because the woman told them to go. And then next thing you know, the girl collapsed. So they standing around looking. And by the time the girl mama come, the girl said, well, she hit me first. So, see, they didn't go home. They came back to finish fighting. That meant that woman had already drove off. See, they not looking at everything with a clear lens. The auntie is like, um, where the school is at fault, and the bus driver, all these adults need to be held accountable. What you gonna charge them with? They didn't hit that girl. They didn't put a hand on that girl. The bus driver dropped off like she was supposed to. Them other people, they was on the wrong bus. So either they had an ultimatum, get off at this stop, or I have to take you back to the school. What they did, they got off. They was going this way. I don't know if they knew their way home or they was just walking. They was going this way. Then they started arguing. The woman in the SUV, her kids, they were outside talking to her. Then they got in the car, and you know, then when they actually started fighting, I heard her door close, and then when they was on the ground, then I saw is either her or some other ones trying to break them up, and then they was going, and they was steady mouthing off, and she was started mouthing off, walking back, and she said, "Look, y'all need to go on home," and told her to go home. And then evidently they was mouthing out to her, and she said, "Look, I'm an adult out here," and she said, "Don't make me get in it," And so, so like I said, where did the girl collapse? Did she go around the corner and collapse or whatever? So, loving my grandson, say 3 and 4, which would be 3 would be the bus driver, 4 would be the adult. Well, if you knew your kid was being bullied, and this was a problem because the dad had went to the school 2 times, to this new school 2 times about the bullying, well, if the mama was at home when the girl got off, I don't know if she didn't work or maybe she worked a different shift. I probably would have tried to make some arrangements to pick my child up if this was going on until we could see what was going on. Don't just go up to the school. See, my parents didn't just go up to the school, and if it was something, whatever. No, I'm going up to the school, and you're going to bring the other parent, and we going to talk. Don't tell me, well, I'm going to talk to y'all, and I'm going to talk to them. No, we all need to be together and talk, and let these kids be in here to see where it stemmed from, what happened, why they are feuding like this. A lot of times it'd be over a girl or a boy or something stupid. An unaliving that happened here, they was over a vape pen, the selling of a vape pen, which they shouldn't have a vape pen at the school, and they shouldn't have been selling a vape pen. So both of them was wrong, but one ended up DAD. So, responsibility, talking to your children, try to see what's going on. Like I said, I had got bullied, and it just so happened the girl that was bullying me, she had this boy helping her, and they were bullying me, and I told my mama about it. And my mama said, "Well, do you know who it is?" I say, "Yeah." I say, "The man that's working on our house, the one that's building y'all extra room." And she say, "Well, you know her." I say, "Yes, ma'am. We know her aunties, her mama. We knew her family because they stayed next door to some good friends of my parents. And then sometime when they would have like house get-togethers, we would be over there. They would be over there intermingling. So we knew them. And that's how my parents hired him to do some contracting work because they found out that's what he did. And he had added on to somebody's house or whatever. So my parents wanted an extra bedroom, a bigger bedroom. So I told her, I say, "Yeah." I say, it's his daughter. I'm going to say, "His daughter?" I say, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Oh, I'm going to handle that." And she told my daddy and whatever. I don't know if my dad was there, because my dad used to drive on the road, or if it was my mom. My dad might have been there, and she told him what was going on, and they talked to the man, and they told him if this didn't stop, we was get somebody else to finish working on our house. So they only gave him startup money He had a lot of more money to get. Do you think that man wanted to lose that money? Mm-mm. He went home and he talked to his daughter. I don't know what he told her, but that next day, when they, it was time for me to be bullied, and the guy started, she said, "No, don't do that." She told me, she said, "Don't do that," and she apologized to me. She said, "No, don't do that. I'm not gonna do that no more to her. I got in some serious trouble." She said, "I got in some serious trouble. I'm not. No, I'm no. That's it. We're gonna dead that." Yeah, because you get ready to take some money out of your parents' pocket and some food off your plate. So, yeah, I had got bullied, but it just so happened her daddy was adding on to our house. And that got nipped in the bud real quick. Real quick. I ain't had no more problems. To this day, I can't stand her. We went to 2 separate high schools, and I don't know if she went to middle school with me, because these kids were in middle school. But if she bullied me in elementary. So if she did go to middle school with me, she didn't bother me at all. At all. So I didn't have to worry about her no more after that. But yeah, so yeah, that bullying is no, they didn't ride the same bus, Gloria. They got on that bus because the girl Jada said it when she got off the bus. They don't even live around here. So that means and if they live down the street, they got off at the wrong stop. When that bus driver put Jada and them off at they stop, those other children got off too. After the fight was over, those kids were going a different direction. They were going a different direction. And she said they don't even ride this bus. So no, they didn't ride the bus. They got on the bus. Hey, LaMonica, how you doing? Yeah. Yeah, they know what's right and what's wrong. They was old enough. Yeah, they was old enough. But they still, when children are away from their parents, they gonna do whatever they want to do, But you still have to instill in them, because like I said, when I was driving, hey, I could have stopped here, there, and everywhere. No, my parents instilled in me, and if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, and you get caught somewhere, because there's always you gonna get caught. When you go somewhere you don't have no business, or you do something you don't have no business, it is going to always come to the light. Anything you do in the dark going to come to the light. So it didn't pay. And I knew that. So I wasn't taking no chances. I wasn't losing my privilege. No, I wasn't losing my privilege. Yeah, the little boy said, "Stop. We supposed to be saying peace." And they didn't want to listen to him. "Oh, shut up, Michael. Go home, Michael." It either was Michael or Micah. "Go home, Micah," because he was like, you couldn't see his face. You could see his hands down. We supposed to be doing peace. Let's do peace. And they was like, "Go home, Michael. Go home, Michael." I don't know if he was younger than them or what, but yeah, they just yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, ex-granny. I don't know. That's in Georgia. I don't know what Georgia laws are. I can't say what everything in Texas laws are, but I know in Houston and the surrounding areas, they got to get on their bus. Those bus numbers, it ain't scratched off or whatever. Those bus numbers are on there, visible. And those buses will line up the way they line up, next to each other, back to back, bumper to bumper. And they know which ones, the ones that usually pull out first. Those kids know they got to get on that bus because they are lined up at a certain way. And when they get because they even will stop traffic for let them buses, they be rolling out, and all of them be going the same way. Then if some got to go the other way, they stop the traffic, let them go out that way. It may be 15 or 20 buses going. But when they start the rolling, them kids have to be on the right bus. Now, when school start, it's a big confusion with some of them. But for the most part, now school been in, no, you should know what bus you on, and you should know who your bus driver is. That same bus driver every day. Is nobody new and nobody different, unless somebody's sick and maybe somebody else have to get on there. But then kids, they used to say bus driver, they'll say, well, where's Miss Jones at today? Oh, Miss Jones is sick. Or Miss Jones not here today. Or Miss Jones know her kids, because like I say, a lot of these bus drivers, you know what their lingo is? Those are my babies. They get to know those kids. They get to know those kids. They get to know their parents and stuff. I have relatives that drive those school buses. I have one that drove for I don't know how many years till she couldn't drive no more. In her 70s, drove the bus. Her daughter still drives the bus. So, and she'll get on there. My babies, those are my babies. That's how they refer to them. So I gotta ask her, and I'm gonna send her a message to see, how do you know what student ride that bus? Are they numbers on their tags or what? You know, I know they probably have a clipboard or something to know what student and check them on and off or whatever. But you know, you gonna recognize your people. So no, they shouldn't have been able to get on that bus, but they did, and that bus put everybody. Well, I don't know everybody, but multiple kids got off that bus, and that group was going, and that group was going, but then they wanted to start a whatchamajig. No, that wasn't a good situation. Yeah, it could have been a substitute bus driver. We don't know. It's all kind of stuff. Yeah, and that's why I was saying, Lex, people get into stuff and then the children turn around and jump on you. You out there trying to help stop a fight. I'm not getting out my car. I tell you, I done seen them fighting. You know what I done? Blew my horn. Try to get their attention. And maybe some other parents will blow. Now, maybe if more than one parent get out, I might get out. But get a gang of children fighting and I'm getting out? No, I don't think so. No, sir. I'm sorry. I watch and tell the story, but I'm not getting out. Because it's always the person that try to help is the one that get it. Side of the street. Police officer got unalived the other day. He got out to help this woman on the side of the road. People not getting over like they supposed to. You're supposed to slow down. If somebody's on the side of the road, you're supposed to, if you can't get over, you're supposed to slow down. If the emergency people is there, if you can't get over, you're supposed to slow down to 20 miles an hour. If you can't get over to the other lane. How many times am I driving and I look, when I see, I'm coming up on a car and I see a car. So I'm looking in the rearview mirror and who's on the side of me. And if I know that I can't get over, I start slowing down. And then who you got? Fred the Dead coming behind you. I start slowing down. And then they want to blow. You can blow all you want to. But I know what the law is. And if I hit that person, that's on me. Because they're going to want to know, why didn't you change lanes? Why didn't you slow down to 20 miles? Because them skid marks, they can examine how far you were and how it took you to stop. Them skid marks that you be, them tire marks you leave, they can examine that. And so I'm not gonna hit nobody if I can avoid, because you're supposed to slow down to 20 miles. And if you can't get over, you slow down. If you can't get over, you're supposed to get over. Or me, I may not get all the way over, but I'll straddle the lane enough that I'm not over there. And then how many times you may do the right thing and somebody come right behind and bam. But if I can avoid it at all costs of it being me, no, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna try to do the right thing. Hey, 99.9. It was a sad. Yeah. See, Gloria, you saying blame the bus driver, but you can't blame the bus driver. The bus driver job is to drop the kids off. Now, here, if they would have been fighting on the bus, it is the bus driver's responsibility to radio in and say that they have a disturbance on their bus, and to stop the bus and to radio in and let them know that they have a disturbance on the bus. Then that's when the like here, the ISD police, that's the school police. The school police gonna come with, depending on where it's at and who worked that area, lights and sirens to wherever that particular bus driver, or if they may the school may dial 911 for them and tell them the location and have an officer that may be close to meet them there. But if it's a fight on the bus, that's the school responsibility. So the school police, the police department, that campus is all there. They're the ones that's gonna come first. Yeah, those are the ones that's supposed to come first. And if they can't get there and it's really a situation, then they will call for backup where if it's the sheriff's department or the regular city police, Houston Police Department, or if it's a DPS officer to get there. But once they get off the bus, that's not their responsibility. They off. If they was fighting on the bus, yes, bus driver was supposed to report it. But no, how many times do these children be arguing on the bus? And they tell them, sit down and be quiet, get in your seats, get in your seatbelts. Hey, Jake Smith. Hey, Nick K, how you doing? What you mean by they go by type of animals? Nick K, what you mean by they go by type of animals? What that mean? So everybody have a different opinion as to who's at fault. It all boils down till for the police department, it's been, the school said they were out of it. They they were out of it. So the police department that overrides the school district or the school police or whatever, and they may not even have a school police. I don't know. I know we do. We have every district have school police. So who's so the police department got to do an investigation. They got to do an autopsy. I think they're supposed to do an autopsy on her. Probably in-depth autopsy or whatever on the baby. But it's a sad situation that they were fighting and That's number one. Number two, I'm glad that they were fighting, fist fighting, and it was no guns or knives or weapons pulled. Old-fashioned fist fight. Like I said, the other girls had to have walked back to meet them to fight or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. The lady, the adult that was in the SUV may have already pulled off once she told them to go home and y'all go home, and they went down one way, the other ones went the other way, so she pulls off. Why am I gonna sit there to make sure they get home? That's not my business. I got my kids in the car, I got something to do or whatever, I'm going on. I did what I was supposed to do. I broke them up, told you to go home. I watched y'all get so far. You were supposed to get so far. I pulled off. So they didn't say anything about the lady still there. They said it was an adult there. And the adult did break them up and tell them she was an adult, as to, you're not going to talk back to me. I'm not a child. You're not going to talk back to me. She had that mother authority when she put that in her voice. It's like, I'm an adult and you're not gonna talk to me like that, or I'm gonna get in it. Y'all go on, you go home. So the mom's sister was saying, and she told her, she gonna tell my niece to go home. Well, what was she supposed to tell her? Stay there and keep arguing? Now you already really want to put her in it. She didn't touch your niece. She didn't do anything to your niece. She told both, she overseen them breaking it up, told the other party to go home, and your niece to go home. Your niece was still there cursing. And you go home. And I'm pretty sure the lady got back in her car and she drove off. Oh, okay. Okay. In your area. Okay. Fox, Elephant. We got too many buses that leave out from different schools that is in the same school district. They got bus numbers 463, 100, 102, 110. That's the way they go, and they are divided up. So if 462 go to the high school and 100 go to the high school, well, 200 and 250 and 3 something may go to the middle school, and 500 and whatever. That's how many students is in the district. And in my area, you have a elementary, a middle, and a high school. That high school is the only one in the area. Now, you go down about 5 miles, you have another big high school. And then somewhere back up in there, you got the elementary or whatever. That's a big high school. So these schools are huge. So that's why I say, and then the same ISD bus that comes to the one down by my house has to go to that school 5 miles away. So if they got 20 buses over there, they got 20 over here, 10 over there. And those are not the only 2 high schools in the district. So, yeah, all the buses have numbers on them. All of them. So, anyway, everybody had a difference of opinion as to who was at fault. I don't think they're gonna get the justice that they're looking for. They want justice for Jada. They're not gonna get it. Because what I found out is that Jada had what did I write down? Jada's heart stopped. That little girl that make Jada heart stop. Jada heart stop on his own. Y'all know how these boys in sports and stuff, and they be running, playing football, and they heart stop. Be with that atrial fibrillation and all that kind of stuff. That little girl might have had could have had some heart problems. How often do you take your kids to the doctor? A lot of people don't. If it's not that you have to get a shot, you don't take your child to the doctor every year, just GP to get their numbers ran, to get their blood pressure, their diabetes, their cholesterol. You don't do that. And I know you don't. Only time you take is if they sick, and when they sick, the doctor ain't running all them tests on them. They gonna test them to see if they got the flu, the C, pneumonia, or something like that. They not running them lipid panels and cholesterol panels, and they not doing all that. But you as a parent, how often do you take your child to get them checked up? And most of the time, most of them don't. and these kids playing these sports and stuff, they give them a little light tap on the knee and the elbow and raise your arm up, ready to see how you could do it, and this hurt or anything hurt. They not really doing no. I mean, that's about the bulk of the physical that you gonna get. You know, because that's a school physical. That's not something that I don't think insurance covers. I could be wrong. So then, therefore, you got to go outside doctor and pay to have a physical, and they not doing all that. They just gonna tap them here, tap them there, listen to their lungs and pulse and check their blood pressure. And if all that checks out okay right then, they sign their physical, follow my hand and stuff like that, look in their throat, and they do that little physical. They sign the paper. And okay, you're okay to play the sport. But then did you turn around and take them to have they panels run? Because a lot of people, knock on wood, pass away because they cholesterol is high. They didn't know because they didn't go to the doctor. Diabetes, and it's out of control. They get rushed to the hospital. They may not knew they was a diabetic. They get in there, their blood sugars is 800. That's near death. That's near death. Or your cholesterol 500 and 600. When I used to work at the doctor's office, yeah, people had cholesterol 500 and 600. Your cholesterol is supposed to be like, I want to say 100 or 120. That's your general cholesterol. Then you have the LDL, the HDL, your triglycerides, all that stuff come down the panel. So when I say blood work, they take them tubes of blood and you complaining, that they have to take all that blood to run all these different tests. And it's a bunch of them. It's a bunch of tests that come on these different panels, depending on which one they do. They needed so much blood for this panel, so much blood for this panel, so much for that, and to get you across the board as to what's going on with you. When they have you pee in the cup, it's for a reason. They you would take a little stick and dip in there, and they could tell if you had ketones or if you had I can't think of what else it was. But different stuff. When they do a dip stip and dip your urine, and it be a little thing, and it have the different colors, and if it change colors or whatever, a certain color, they had a little chart, and they could tell what it was. What you had, too much protein in your urine, all of that. So yeah, so what? So poor Jada, heart stopped. That girl didn't. That girl had nothing to do with that girl heart. That little girl heart. It's sad to say, yeah, they fought. And had they not had that fight, Jada could still went home and laid down and went to sleep and didn't wake up. But now that the fight happened, they want to put it on the fight. No, they had to fight. And they shouldn't have been fighting. But come to find out, the girl heart stopped. By the time they got her to the hospital, they took her to one hospital. Like I say, you don't know if the mama put her in the car, took her to the hospital, or did they call the ambulance? Because the ambulance have oxygen. You don't have oxygen in your car. So they took her to, I'm thinking the parent took her to one hospital. They took her to the hospital. They got to working on her or whatever. No, we got to get out of here. We got to get her to the children's hospital. They life flighted her to the children's hospital, where doctors specialize in just children. So there she was on, life support because the oxygen, she wasn't getting enough oxygen to her brain. She lost oxygen from whatever she passed out. So it wasn't from the fight. Her heart stopped. It's a sad situation. So now I'm pretty sure that they're going to do autopsy also to see if she had any other underlying conditions. Uh, you know, what was it that make her heart stop at such a young age, 12 years old? What was it? So evidently she had some, I'm just assuming that she had some underlying conditions going on that nobody knew about. And she could be a healthy little girl, you know, complain of a cold or a stomach ache every now and again, but most children is go lucky, happy go lucky. They don't complain or nothing. And sometimes they won't tell you because they don't want to go to the doctor. But if it gets them bad enough, they will tell you, you know. So, yeah, poor baby. Yeah, that's what happened to her. Her name is Jada West. So y'all say a prayer for her and her parents. Um, at the time when I was reading, they didn't have a GoFundMe or nothing like that. Maybe her mom had insurance on her. They had somebody making buttons. They were making buttons and selling them, I guess, with her face on there or whatever. But from the pictures that I saw of her, she looked much younger. But on the thing of the fight, she looked older. But I guess the pictures that they were showing was some, maybe 10 years old, 11 years old, 9 years old, or whatever. But yeah, Jada was out there cutting up, carrying on, cussing her butt off. So that's what happened to her. The other thing, we had a content creator was saying earlier today that I didn't catch the whole thing and I got to get the replay. But anyway, I'm just make a long story short. Her neighbor must smoke them tweeds, the marijuana, and evidently it's coming through the vents. It's coming heavily through her vents and stuff. And her husband there, well, husband is, I say elderly, is older. She halfway seasoned. She talking about she old. She ain't old for her age. But anyway, and it was, had been coming through strong through their vents. And if you're not a marijuana smoker or whatever, or you don't do that or whatever, you tend to not want to have that stuff come into your house. So anyway, she went and she spoke with the neighbor, and I guess, I don't know if he was a young guy or whatever, and just was telling them that, they were older and it was coming pretty strong through their, their vents. Because really, if you stay in an apartment, he could get a humidifier. I don't know if she suggested anything or whatever, but I just kind of heard it briefly that she went over and asked the guy or whatever. And then I think he said he was going to do something, maybe move an area or something in there or whatever. And she said, she asked him nicely or whatever. And he, he didn't do it. He just kept on doing what he was going to do. But I don't want to laugh, but I want to, I'm going to tell her tomorrow that I read a story. I say, boy, look how go at work. I was reading on, I don't know if it was Facebook or YouTube. I was reading a story, and the downstairs neighbors was making a lot of noise. So the guy and the girl, I guess they must have went down there together, because they have kids. They had kids, and a girl is 7. She was 7 months pregnant, and they had kids or whatever. So they evidently went down there to ask the guy, we say we trying to sleep or whatever, and the kids trying to sleep, and could you tone the noise down or whatever? Oh yeah, okay, or whatever. So they get back into their apartment, and this fool shot 20 times through the ceiling. Soon as they walked in their house, you can hear people walking. Shot 20 times through the ceiling. Unalived him and unalived her with pregnant 7 months. I don't know what happened to the other kids, but those two lost their lives. just for asking him, could he stop the music, lower the music, or lower the noise, whatever he was doing downstairs. Oh, sure, no problem. I guess, or maybe he didn't say no problem. No telling what he said. But they end up going, they went on back upstairs. And so when as soon as they got upstairs, he took this gun and started shooting up, shot 20 times. So he's shooting up. Of course, he can hear him walking. He's shooting. It's one of those bullets is bound to hit him. Legs, groin. Probably went through their groins, their butt. But wherever it hit him, it killed him. And of course, if it hit her in the stomach at any point, yeah. That's just how evil people are. You being nice, or think you being nice, to ask people, can you do so and so and so? And they turn around, hey Lee, and do something cruel as that. Now, you think you ain't going to jail? You think they don't know them bullets came from downstairs? And that if you own the lease, they gonna get you? What was going on with you in your mind that that's why I say you never know about people. You just so evil and possessed, and them people trying to get some sleep, or they kids trying to get some sleep, and you just don't understand till you just gonna call yourself going off and just start shooting through the ceiling. You could have unalived the kids. You don't know if them kids was they had made a pallet in the living room, the front room for them to sleep. You don't know that. But you just start shooting up in the ceiling. You shot 20 times and you unalived the woman and the man, and she was 7 months pregnant. So how quick you think you going to jail? Real quick. Soon as they catch up with you, or soon as they find you. And if you wasn't on the list, and your gal and you got kids staying there with that woman, they all getting evicted. They getting put out ASAP as of yesterday, last month. And I hope you was man enough to stay there and wait for them to come. You was bad enough to shoot it. You should be bad enough to stay there and wait for them to come and get you. Why did you do that? Hey, truly yours. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. He wasn't going to be hard to find. If your name is on that lease, and if your name not on the lease, whoever apartment that is, they know to tell who you are and where you possibly could be. Well, if he didn't flee the scene, then he crazy as a Betsy bug. Well, then your mom must be a pretty lady. Nice to meet you too. Welcome over to my channel. I'm Classy Lady. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and come on back. This is pretty much the same commentary that I talk about. I don't talk about gruesome stuff all the time, but this was some things that I wanted to talk about. I talked about, I don't know if you've been listening, I talked about the 12-year-old that had a fight and then died shortly afterwards. And then this, what I saw, what I read, came across today. And I just thought that was so evil of him to do that. It was no sense in that. That was a senseless killing. So that's why I say, we have to be careful about people. And that's why I say, a smile, you never know how it can make somebody's day. Somebody could be feeling bad and blue, good morning. Oh, how you doing? Sometimes when you speak to people think you might see them getting ready to do something, and then they change their mind on what they was getting ready to do. They might have been getting ready to rob a bank. You getting ready to go in the bank, or you coming out the bank and you say, how you doing? They think you see them and you looking them up and down, and they may change their mind and say, well, I better not do it right now because that lady done seen me and she can give a description of me. Or you getting ready to, do something to the store or something, And oh, that lady seen me. I better not better wait till she come out of there or whatever. You just have to watch your surroundings. But like I say, I'm really courteous and I speak to people. I hold the door open for people. I don't have a problem with it. Now, man, now you need to hold the door open for me. Because if you don't hold it open for me and you go in first, I think you're very rude. But I'm not going to say anything to you. I'm just going to, go on by my way. But, women will hold the door open for each other with no problem. Some, I'm going to say some don't. But it's just good to be nice and courteous. The way times are hard for everybody. And I tell y'all, even a bum on the street, y'all give them respect. You never know that you talk crazy, that bum could be walking down the street and your car break down. That bum might be the same one you talk crazy to, might be the same one to push you out of harm's way or help you get out of harm's way. So just because they out there, they look homeless, bummy or whatever, you don't talk to them any kind of way. We got some that stand up here, give a quarter, 25 cents. So I tell them, come here. I do this. And I might have money in my hand. I might have $1 or something I'm going to give them or some change. I keep a little coin thing in there. And if I don't have $1 or $2 in my purse, I'll get it out of there. And I say, what you going to get for a quarter? Well, hopefully I can get enough quarters. I'll be able to buy me a beer. I say, so why don't you write your sign, I need a beer? Do you know how many men think it's comical and will go over to the convenience store and say, man, what kind of beer you want? May go over there and get you a 6-pack. Just say you want a beer. Or if you say you want a beer and I'm like, okay, he want a beer. Here's $1. I hope that help you to get your beer. Or say a thing, I'm hungry. But tell me, I asked the guy one time. I said, I drove up to the gas station. He said, ma'am, you got a quarter? I said, what you gonna do with that quarter? What you gonna buy with a quarter? I say, now I'm getting ready to go in here. I say, you can't buy nothing at that gas station with that quarter. You can't even buy a bubble gum for a quarter these days. He put his head down and he had to laugh. He laughed. He say, ma'am, he say, you got me on that. I can't buy nothing with a quarter. I say, you would have did better asking me for $1. So I told him, I say, since you out here asking for money, I say, I'm going to go over here to this car wash. Come over here and wipe my car off. He said, oh, I got a bucket over there with some water and stuff. I can get some of this dirt off your car. I say, yeah, work for this. And when I said, and I'm going to pay for my gas. And when I come out, I'm going to stop it at a certain thing. I said, you can pump the gas too. I said, you going to work for this money. So when he pumped the gas and everything, I gave him $5. I said, now maybe you can buy something with the $5, but you can't get nothing with a quarter. Stop asking people for a quarter. So, like I said, the moral of the story is I treat, even though they homeless, they begging, if I don't want to give, I'm not going to give. I don't have it. If I have it, I'll give it. If they're outside of a food restaurant, I'll ask them, are they hungry? If they tell me no, they ain't hungry, I ain't got nothing for you. Because I already know you're going to buy some crack. But if you say you out there and you say, well, I need some money to catch the bus. Now you may fool me by you saying you need to catch the bus. Okay? But if you're outside of a food restaurant or something like that, or a grocery store, and I can go in there and get you something. It was a girl in the grocery store one day. She done got some food. She ain't had no money to pay for it. I guess she was going to get up there, ask the cashier, could she get it and she'll bring it back or whatever. So she said, ma'am, do you think you could buy these? I think she had some wings or something like that. And she said, me and my boyfriend don't have nothing to eat. Now, to me, that sounds like a drug move. I didn't judge her. I said, you got some wings? I said, what else you got with that? Oh, she had got a chicken. No, take that back. She had got a rotisserie chicken. And I said, why don't you go get a loaf of bread? So she went and got a loaf of bread. I said, do you want some chips with that? No, ma'am, this will be fine. I said, you want a soda for each one of y'all? Yes, ma'am. I went ahead and bought it for her. Because you know what? It could be my people. It could be me. You never know. So, I'm just that kind of person. Hey, Miss Boone, how you doing? Y'all, I'm getting ready to get off of here. I have almost 200 lives and shorts. If you're new to my channel, you're new to coming over here, this is pretty much the content I talk. Everyday life is what I talk about. If I have a story, a personal story of myself, I'll tell it. I ain't gonna tell you nothing that can't be repeated. Because my life experience or something I done went through, maybe somebody is going through it. Maybe I can help somebody else. That's my purpose. If I help one person a day, I've done what I was supposed to do. I know God is pleased of me. So with that being said, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. I'm Classy Lady. Lord say the same. I'll be on at 8 o'clock. You can also just watch. I may post something during the day if I'm going to come on earlier. But same time, different day, different clothes. But I am Classy Lady. Angels on everybody's pillows. And I will see you later if the Lord say the same.